everyone, it's Amanda. Welcome back to my channel. October is coming around the corner, which I'm so excited about because this is actually one of my favorite times of the year. You know, the cold weather is here, Halloween is coming up. It's just a great time of the year. As you can see, I was so excited that I wore my designated autumn sweater. I just feel like this is very Halloweenish. But of course, we can't start off a new month without setting up our bullet journals, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Before we get into it, I'd like to thank today's sponsor, Audible. I always get tons of questions asking me what I listen to while I bullet journal, and recently I've been loving listening to audiobooks. They're just the perfect thing to, plug in while you're focused on doodling or drawing, because obviously you don't need to use your eyes. You can just listen to it and it's perfect. I'm actually currently listening to the sequel of Crazy Rich Asians, and it has been so good, but Audible has an unmatched selection of audiobooks, original audio shows, news, comedy, and more from the leading publishers. So I'm sure you're going to be able to find something that you're interested in there. So if you want to try out Audible for yourself, you can go to audible.com/AmandaRachLee or text Amanda Rach Lee to 500 for an exclusive 30-day free trial and a book of your choice for free. So join me in listening to a book while bullet journaling. It's the best thing ever. But anyways, I think that's pretty much it for the intro, so I'm going to hand you guys off to the voiceover now. Okay, so for this month's theme, we are doing something that you guys have been asking me to do basically since I started bullet journaling. We are doing magic and wizardry. I actually also asked you guys over on my YouTube community page what theme you guys wanted to see. I put a poll up, and this one won by an overwhelming majority. There was like over 60,000 votes, and this one was basically 50% of the votes. So, you know what? I had to do it. And I figured it would be perfect because it does kind of fall under the broad umbrella of Halloween, even though it's a bit more specific than just doing a Halloween theme, because we are focusing on witchcraft and wizardry and all of that fun stuff. Now, I know I have a lot of Potterhead viewers out there. Speaking of which, I totally should have been listening to the Harry Potter books on Audible while I was bullet journaling. I'm kind of mad I didn't think of that until now. But anyways, I definitely wanted to do this theme justice for you guys because it's just so iconic. But I also wanted to make sure that those of you who aren't the biggest Harry Potter fans could also enjoy this theme. So I made sure that the cover page was a bit more generic and the doodles didn't have to do specifically with Harry Potter. It's just more so witchcraft and wizardry in general. So you'll see I have some witch hats, some cauldrons, there's a candle, broomsticks, and just a couple little nods to Harry Potter within there just because I had to. But otherwise, I feel like anyone could use this theme. For those of you who do want it to be more Harry Potter focused and go full on HP, because I know that there are a bunch of you guys who might want to do that, what I would do is change the font to be the iconic Harry Potter lightning bolt font, and then maybe throw in a couple more Harry Potter focused doodles into the mix there. You could also choose your accent color based on which Hogwarts house you're in. There's a lot of things that you can do. Just wanted to give you guys a couple of options out there. Side note and a little fun fact, I actually only used 2 pens to create this entire cover page. I used my Tombow Fudenosuke hard tip brush pen to do the calligraphy as well as the outlines of all of the doodles. Typically I would use a fine liner, but I decided to try something new and use the brush pen for the outlines because then I could get variation in the widths of the lines, and I actually really like the way it turned out. I feel like it makes it look more hand-drawn, and you can use it a little bit thicker and thinner depending on where you want the darkness to be. And then the other marker that I used was my accent color, which was this gold metallic marker, which I thought worked perfectly with this magical theme. And it was great because the gold metallic actually shows up on top of dark backgrounds, so I was able to use the gold on top of any things that I've colored in completely black. On the other page, I decided to do a quote, and of course I had to do a quote that was said by the legend herself, J.K. Rowling. It says, "We all have magic inside us," which I thought was obviously very fitting for this theme, and I thought it was a great way to start off October, make yourself feel a little special and just give yourself a little motivation with this quote. I added a doodle of a wand and then a bunch of sparkles all around it, and of course colored it in with our gold accent color. Moving on to my monthly calendar layout, I'm actually doing the same monthly calendar layout as last month. I just like the amount of space it gives me, and it also gives a decent amount of space for doodles. And I was in a very doodly mood for this month, as you can probably tell, so I had to make sure I could throw in all those wizarding doodles around it. The font that I'm using for the days of the week is this kind of quirky serif font. If you guys don't know what serifs are, they're those little ticks on the ends of different styles of lettering, and I thought this went really well with this theme because in my head I always associate serif font with like old-timey history books and since I'm drawing a lot of like parchment rolls and all of that, I thought it would work really great. So throughout this whole video, you'll see me kind of switching between this font and then my classic calligraphy cursive hand lettering font that I do with my brush pen. And that was the perk of using this brush pen for basically everything because it was very easy for me to switch back and forth. I didn't have to switch out pens in between in order to do a different font. Basically, in order to get the serif font, I would go really light-handed so I could get the details of the serifs, and then if I wanted to do my cursive, I would press harder on the downstrokes to get those thicker downstrokes. And I could still use it to get thicker outlines on my doodles, or as you can see on the days of the month, I used it to do black circles and then I wrote the numbers over top with white gel pen. So many options, and I'm truly loving this. I think I'm going to use a brush pen to do outlining and lettering more often because it's just so versatile. In order to decorate this spread, I did the same sort of floating magical objects, except this time it's coming from the edge of the page all across to the center and kind of meeting and joining up with that rolled up parchment. And I'm still filling everything in with the gold accent color. The next spreads are of course my trackers, and these ones I have to say I think are some of my favorites just because I think I did them in a very fun, creative way. Gotta keep it fun so that you can keep up with your trackers. I know I get that a lot. A lot of you guys say that it's hard for you to keep up with your trackers. I totally get it. Sometimes I skip a couple days. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, but if you switch things up and come up with new little layouts and doodles and stuff to add, maybe it'll make it more fun for you to fill it in. But again, don't pressure yourself to do something that is inconveniencing you. Anyways, this theme was so fun to play around with because there was just so many possibilities and directions that you can go into, but I was actually really liking the look of this kind of old torn up parchment, so I decided to make each of the habits a sheet of parchment. So you'll see I outline them each individual square with that kind of jagged line, and it makes it look very old-timey. And then for those of you who don't know how this works, for each day that I do a specific habit, I will color in a circle over top of the number. And I think I'm going to use the gold metallic marker, so hopefully by the end of this month, this whole page will just be filled in gold dots. At the bottom, I just did this crystal ball doodle to fill in that blank space. For my mood tracker, this one's kind of fun. I decided to do little potion bottles. There's like a bunch of different vials and glass jars with corked stoppers, and they're all along these shelves. And essentially what I want to do is for every single day, depending on my mood, it'll fill up the bottle a different amount. So if my mood is really good and I'm really happy one day, I will color in the potion bottle all the way to the top so it looks like it's completely filled. And then if I'm having a bit more of a rough day, then maybe the bottle or the vial will be filled only a quarter of the way, which I thought was kind of different and fun. If you want to make this spread, I would recommend doing a bit of a pencil sketch underneath just so you can sketch out all of the bottles and make sure you have enough space for all of it, and make sure each row has the correct number of bottles as well. I made sure to add a rectangle around each row, which makes it look like they're on a shelf, maybe at a potions class at Hogwarts, taught by everyone's fave, Snape, of course. And then in each bottle, I numbered it with my gold marker. So these next couple of spreads really have no function per se, but it was just more for myself for fun because I was in a doodly mood and also in a very Harry Potter mood, of course. So yeah, even though all of the other spreads I kept very neutral and just general wizardry and witchcraft, these ones were the ones that I just went full on Potterhead geek on them. This page that you see me doing right now is like a about me as a wizard page. I put all of my Pottermore results, so as you can see, I am in fact a Slytherin. Slytherins represent. Any other Slytherins out there, let me know in the comments below. But I drew the Slytherin crest, which was really fun to doodle because it was a bit more intense than some of the other doodles that I was doing. And then underneath it, I have all of my results. So I wrote out my house, my Patronus, and my wand. I actually forgot to put my Ilvermorny house, so I'm going to add that in later. But in case you're curious, I am a horned serpent, which is strange because all of my Pottermore results have to do with snakes in some way. I'm a Slytherin, my Patronus is a python, and then my Ilvermorny house is a horned serpent. So truly I have that serpent DNA inside of me. Anyways, I hope that kind of gave you a bit of insight into my personality and who I am, because I feel like you can definitely tell a lot about someone based on all of their Pottermore results. Next to it, I did a fun quote. Obviously, I had to do, I solemnly swear that I'm up to no good. And I did it all in this Harry Potter font, the classic kind of old-time Gothic font, which was really fun to play around with and quite easy to do actually if you use a brush pen like this one. Maybe if you guys are interested, I can do separate font and doodle tutorials. Let me know if that's something you'd want to see. To complete this page, I drew a doodle of Harry's glasses and his scar. And then of course, since this is the saying that unlocks the Marauders map, I decided to draw in all of the moving footprints across this page so it looks like it's actually from the map, which I thought really ties everything together. So that's it. This was my time to geek out. Now we're moving on to my weekly spread. I thought this would be the perfect theme to do a Dutch door spread because with magic you never know what is hiding underneath and there's all these secrets, so I cut a page in half and that acts as a little flap. It also gives you more planning space because you can split it up into two like I've done. On the sidebars of the spreads I drew more parchment, and on the left I have the title of October, what week it is. I also have a mini monthly overview, and then on the right sidebar you'll see that I draw a weekly events table. You guys know I like to split up my tasks and my events just so that I can know where I have to be when on each specific day, because if I didn't split up the events and tasks and they were all jumbled in together, I guarantee you I would definitely miss an appointment or a meeting of some sort, so I like to have them separated. The weekly events sidebar also is great for a Dutch door spread like this because no matter which way your Dutch door is, you can have a weekly overview of what your week looks like. Again, I decided to do this one with the whole parchment situation, and I used the gold marker as small accents throughout the spread to color in the stars and whatnot. And then on the empty space, obviously gotta fill it in with all of our magical doodles. I forgot to mention this at the beginning, but I always get questions about it, so I'm still gonna say it. All of the products that I used in this video will be linked down below, so in case you're curious, be sure to check that out. Anyways, here's the final flip through of my magical October 2018 bullet journal setup. I finally did this theme for you guys. You guys have been bugging me to do this for so long, and I hope I did it justice. I think it's personally become one of my favorites. Alright everyone, so I hope you enjoyed planning with me. While I wrap things up, here are some of your recreations from last month's bullet journal. As usual, I love seeing your recreations, so if you recreate any of my spreads, whether it be this month or previous months, be sure to send me a photo over on Instagram. You can do so by tagging me in the photo and the caption. My Instagram is at Amanda H Doodles. You can also follow me there for a bunch more bullet journal and doodling and calligraphy inspiration. But yeah, can't wait to see your recreations this month. You guys know what to do already. If you're not subscribed yet, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and also turn on post notifications so you never miss a new video from me. But anyways, keep doodling guys, and I will talk to you in my next video. Bye everyone!